All right. Welcome back, guys. Thank you guys so much for your likes, your support, comments, views, all of it. It means a whole lot to me. Today, I do want to talk about organization and photos and video and how I go through things as quickly as I do because my turnarounds are usually insanely fast based on my organization.
All the same when your wires touch my ears like a razor through skin. Why don't you show me your worst? Why don't you?
Now, some of you might already have an organization that works for you, and that's super awesome. By all means, go for it. I'm not telling you to switch to mine, but I am stating a way that I do it that I have found very, very efficient to be able to navigate through photos and videos and put everything together in a way that works super well. All right, so note, I do use Lightroom. I use Lightroom. I do subscribe to the Adobe photography suite. I do not do the whole thing as I use DaVinci Resolve for video editing, for other reasons of organization as well, making things a lot faster and easier. So after I have photographed the show, I usually have a bunch of videos and photos in my cameras, and usually both cameras. So each one has the camera has the photos labeled. I've gone in and I've changed the settings in the camera itself, so that this way all my photos that are shot on my Z6 Mark III say Z6 Mark III, and my photos that are on my Z5 Mark II normally would say Z5 Mark II, but I recently had to reset it, so now they just say DSC. I'll be updating that at some point. But anyway, moving on. After I have photographed and filmed an entire show, the next thing is importing everything into my computer. And sometimes there's a couple of different ways to do that. The first way I do it personally that I've found to be super efficient and easy is that I'm going to go onto my hard drive. So what we're going to do is we're going to move over to my computer here. I'm going to move this so that we can hear me like such. So I'm going to move over to my computer, and I'm going to show you how I have it set up and organized to make your life easy. Now, I know a lot of people come in and they might just date things. They might do whatever they might do, however they organize it. And I've gotten a lot of questions saying, how do you organize your stuff? Because it's so it's well divided in a way that if I need to find something, I can either type in the venue I was at, I can type in the date of the show, the band of the show, whatever photo I want to find, whether it's the raw file or an exported file, or JPEG, if you will. I can do that just by searching because of the way I have everything labeled. So we're going to move into my hard drive. So I have a hard drive. I use a Samsung T9 and I have it labeled. Now inside this hard drive, you can see that I have everything noted by dates. Now, I start with the date first because in that manner, as I open up my drive, my dates are going to be in a very specific order. So as you can see, anything dated is going to be in the beginning. And then the newest dates will end up at the end. So oldest is up top, newest is at the bottom. When I have it organized that way, I can start from top to bottom and work through my editing process. Now in each folder, after I've put the date, after I've put the artist name, and then the venue that it was at. And the reason I do the venue is because I might shoot the same artist at different venues, right? So I have the date, yes, but if I just put the date and the artist, I don't remember which venue was which if I need to find a certain photo for whatever I need that photo for. So I put the venue, I put the artist, and I put the date. And then if I was to do 3 different artists at one date, at one venue, I have 3 different artists all with the same venue. Now, let's say I have to go in and I have to search my hard drive for a specific photo, and I know that it was at the Worcester Palladium. I know that it was at the Raven, or I know that it was at Tafetta Lounge. I can just type that in the search bar under the year that I shot it, and I'll be able to find the folders that are associated to that venue. So if I shot that venue 6 times, I'll be able to find the band at that venue. Now, speaking of years, before I get into this, documents. Under documents is where all my catalogs are stored from Lightroom. The reason why I do it that way is because you can use smart previews. And if you guys want to see a video on smart previews and how I use them, please drop a comment down below. And while you're there, if you can hit that like button if you like this video, and hit subscribe if you want to see more like this, I'll be able to get a whole lot more videos your way. So moving back to the computer. Inside of documents, that's where all my catalogs are stored. And the Lightroom catalog is where all your information goes to. So your information, all your photo edits and everything else and all the adjustments you've made, store it within the catalog file. That catalog file, we'll just open one up here, is going to look similar to this. Now, under that catalog file, that's where all your information is. So if you move a photo from a different drive to a different drive, it's going to give you that question mark and just show you a thumbnail there. So we'll touch base on that at another point. But for now, I create a catalog for the year. Each year has its own catalog. Now, I no longer do weddings, so I'm just strictly focusing on bands. So each year you're going to see 2025 band catalog, 2026 band catalog, 2027 band catalog. Doing so gives me the ability to organize my entire year's worth of work under one folder. Now, that year is my entire catalog. So throughout the entire year, that's what I'm working on. Each catalog will back up to another part of my hard drive. So that this way, if I ever delete the catalog or something happens within the catalog, I can revert to a backup and not lose my work. So after I've shot a show, I'm going to take the photos and I'm going to drag and drop them from the memory card over to my hard drive in those folders that you saw where it was dated with the date, the band, and the venue. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my import and I'm going to open up the import dialog. From here, we're going to see where it says show drive. Now under show drive, I'm going to have folders. Each folder is already labeled. I've already taken the work and transferred everything over. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add those photos to my library. We have a folder here labeled Take the Flame. One thing you're going to notice when I open this, you're going to see where it says clips, export, import, and rejected. Each one of those is where certain things are going to go that I have shot. So under clips will be where my video goes. Underneath export is where the exported photos go. Underneath import is where the imported photos or the drag and drop photos are going to go. And then my rejected gets created later, and I'll show you how I do that. Now, once I have import, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on import. Now, these are all grayed out because they're already in there. But if you'll notice up on the top, instead of where it says copy, I'm going to click on add. Add will not copy the photos, but instead will be a lot faster to import your stuff into Lightroom. This way, making it a lot quicker for you to start working on the photos, since most of the photos I work on usually are done by that same night of the show. Once I have this all set up, and these are all checked off, and they're normally not going to be grayed out, I'm going to click on over here where it says import, and then what you're going to see is up in the top left, you'll get this icon over here that says you're importing, and then all your photos will end up over here. Organization is absolute key when it comes to dealing with a lot of photos. And previously shooting weddings, many weddings a year, organization was an absolute must. Where are my imported photos going? Where are my edited photos going? Where are my Photoshop projects going? Everything has to be organized correctly so you don't lose anything, because you might have that one photo that someone knows you took and they want it. So once I have everything all organized, if you actually go into library, you're going to see it right over here. Inside this will only show import. It will not show rejected. It will not show your clips. It will not show anything, because we don't want the video in this. We only want the photo. So that's why we do it this way with add, so that this way I can import that stuff and not have to worry about importing the video as well, or having to go in and manually deselect videos that I don't want imported into Lightroom. Instead, I just drag and drop the photo specifically, drag and drop the video specifically, and then leave it at that. Now, once I'm in here and I'm under import, I go through all my photos, I do my edits, but then photos that I don't want, let's say, I will hit the X button, and the X button will allow me to reject the photo. U button will allow me to unflag it, and then P will allow me to pick the photo and flag it as a pick, something that I want to keep. Once I've got everything all set up and I've got the photos I do not want to edit, and I don't like them and I want to get rid of them, I'm going to come back over to here, and I'm going to go into the main parent folder. I'm going to right click and I'm going to add folder, and I'm going to label it rejected. Now, I learned this workflow using Capture One a while back, where Capture One actually had this as a preset. When you create a new, not catalog, but session would allow you to pre-program selected folders that you want to add within your session. This way you can then organize your photos as you go. So this is kind of like a workaround to getting something very similar to that. So now I'm going to create the rejected. I'm going to highlight the ones that are rejected down here by clicking on this icon right over here. By clicking on that icon, I can highlight everything that's on here by Command A, and I can drag and drop those into the rejected folder. Now, when we look at it, this is my rejected, and this is my import. Now I'm completely organized, and at this point, I can then go ahead and start editing my imported photos, get them ready to go after I've culled through them, and now I can just kind of copy and paste most of the settings based on certain types of lighting. Now, the lighting changes like crazy, so copy and paste isn't the most ideal, but it does work for me from time to time after I've developed certain presets to be able to edit photos pretty quickly and get the ones that I need. Once I have all that set, now if I want to edit video, I can close out Lightroom. We can open up DaVinci, and in that same folder that was labeled with the date, the band, and the venue, I have now project folders. So one of them is Recap Reels. Under here, I can create a new project, and we're going to label this one like I labeled the folder. I'm going to label this the same way, because now when I want to search for a recap reel project, I can do the same thing here. So this was 011126. Take the flame at Palladium. I'm actually completely blind and can't see anything over here. All right. So now I've created a project. In this project, I can go, and we're going to expand this. I can now go into my media. I can go into my show drive. Under show drive, I have Take the Flame. Under here, I have clips. Now, I also do have their audio for their songs. So at one point, I'll have a folder in here labeled audio, and I can drag and drop the audio in there as well. But now I have clips. If I take this entire folder and drag it down, I can have every video clip that I took that night drag and drop into place. At that point, I can go over to edit. We are going to shrink these. And now I now have all my clips that I can work on to edit the video for the show. All these off the same hard drive. So now if we could DaVinci, we go back into my show drive and right back to that folder that I showed you. And I have rejected, exported. Now exported comes once you have completed all your edits and you want to export all your footage. That's where it goes. Now, if you guys want to see some export settings, let me know in the comments below, because I can make a video on that, on how I export my photos. Because there are many different ways that I export photos for web, for Instagram, for Facebook, and for just regular viewing, printing, and stuff like that. If you want a nice wide 3-foot by 2-foot photo, or if you just want a photo that's going to go on Instagram to showcase what happened that night, there are different settings for that. And if you guys want to know what those are, feel free to drop a comment down below. So once I'm all set over here, I can see all my folders are here. I have my export folder. At that point, I do have a delivery drive that I use. It's a NAS that I use to deliver files. I can then drag that folder, drop it into that NAS, and then I can deliver it to the bands. And then I have everything here for archival purposes. Now, when I want to move this folder off of this hard drive and onto a different hard drive, like another NAS that I have at my house, I can go into Lightroom, and under Lightroom, under the library, this is where you move your photos. In here, I can then take this folder here. When I have that other drive located here, I can drag this and drop it, and it'll actually move the entire folder, edits and everything into that drive. And the reason I don't have to do anything with the catalog is because the catalog stays in my documents folder at all times, and it never moves. That gets backed up to a folder on the NAS as well. So if I lose that catalog, I can pull it back in. That is organizing your photos. And it doesn't have to be concerts. It can be weddings. It can be family. It can be anything. But that has been what I've noticed to be the absolute best and efficient way that I've done myself of organizing photos utilizing Lightroom and the organization feature in Lightroom Classic. Now, that does not revert to Lightroom CC. I personally don't use Lightroom CC, so I could not give you an exact answer as to how to organize on Lightroom CC, but it wouldn't be hard to start using Lightroom Classic today. Now, with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video. If you guys have any questions, again, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Hit that like button if you liked this video, and subscribe for more content like this because I've got a lot of videos coming out. And until then, keep on rocking, folks.